What's going on, family? Kevin and Jesse here with you again, the Elite State of Mind podcast. Jesse, how you doing today?
Man, I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am doing amazing. I'm doing amazing. Family, make sure you go ahead, like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Don't want you guys to miss out on anything coming up. Family, what we're going to get into today, being it is the new year, make sure you listen to 2022, doing it for you. But we're going to talk about being a serial starter. So what is a serial starter, family? A serial starter are people who have started several enterprises but have yet to complete one successfully. So they never see one through to the finished development. They tend to lack the needed commitment, and when it gets tough or mundane, they run away. Now, don't confuse this with the serial entrepreneur, which is a person who will start these businesses and then in about phase 3 or 4, pass them off to, a CEO, and then go start another successful enterprise. Mm-hmm. So, Jesse, when we talk about the serial starter, do you know any?
I've been guilty of it myself.
Okay.
And so understanding that, through the growth process, that it's hard to fully embrace your manhood, your role of leadership if you are a serial starter.
Okay.
Most of the time it's dealing with business.
Right.
Having to pertain to business. But we are business.
Very true.
As individual, entities, we are business. So we have to turn the focus from an outside source into an internal one, the business of us.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And, so often we will start a project trying to get in shape, trying to eat healthier, trying to learn a new craft. Mm-hmm. And like it says, then there's always that point where it's not as easy as it started out to be. It's not as interesting as it started out being.
Right.
And then the next thing you know, I think I'm through with this. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go on to the next thing. Mm-hmm. But I haven't made myself any better.
Right.
I've really just wasted time. I've accomplished a whole lot of nothing because I taught myself that it's okay to quit and not see things through to completion.
Be careful.
Now, I'm going to give this caveat. Sometimes you need to quit some things
so.
and some people.
Yes.
But you can't just habitually quit everything.
Right.
You have to see some things through, to completion. How do we recognize what the serial starter, or if you are one?
I think like you made mention of is, are you losing interest quickly? Like it's always easy to start something, but do you have a gauge of when and where your interest begins to wane? That might be might be getting into something there.
I think, for the gauge part, it's normally when it no longer continues to give you what you thought it was supposed to give, because the payback may be a little further off. Mm-hmm. I can't plant, corn tomorrow and have a whole field by Friday.
So what you saying? I can't get like one corn and put it in the ground?
Nah, big dog. Nah, you gotta plant a whole row. You gotta till the ground. You gotta work it. You might have to call some people for help.
Oh yeah.
But if you never do, I just don't believe that it's going to come to any good end to you. Yeah. And I think the problem becomes is when we enable others to continue to be serial starters. Like, just keep doing it. Yeah. I mean, at some point in time, you got to sit some people down and say, hey, man, what's wrong? What's going on? Why does everything seem to lose its luster to you?
Wow.
Because once, that might not have been for you. Twice, that endeavor might not have been for you.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. 6, 7, 8 business ventures. 4, 5 relationships. At some point in time, we got to take a look at ourselves. As Kalada, you say you got to take inventory. Of who you are. So, for me in that, recognizing sometimes it takes, a big bro, an auntie, a parent, a mentor to kind of smack you in the face.
Yes.
And tell you you're not hitting it like you thought you were. You're not putting it down like you thought you were putting it down.
Yeah. Yes.
So for you, what has been maybe an instance where, somebody told you, man, you probably should keep doing that thing. You probably should keep trying, even though it might not yield an ROI right now.
Yeah. I think one of my first mentors that kind of got me into training, he explained that it was definitely a long game. And understanding that, hey, initially it's going to take you some time just to begin to build business. Because you're starting from nothing. Like, no one knows who you are.
Sure.
They don't know your skill set. They don't know knowledge if you have it, right? Or you don't. Well, that's one of the reasons why he was like, go get certified.
Right.
It aids in making sure that, the public knows that you're safe. And if you're going to put their safety first, that you can effectively program, which is huge, and that you can communicate, which is another big thing. The ability to teach the skills that they need to actually reach their particular goals.
Sure.
So, he was like, along the way, you're going to get frustrated. Along the way, some people are going to quit you.
Yep.
Right? They're going to be like, yeah, hyped up, ready to go. Yeah.
2 burpees in.
You know what?
Blank you, Jesse. I'm out.
Forget you, big dog. It's a wrap. Forget your burpees. Forget your workout plan. You can keep these medicine balls and go jump in the lake. Right?
That's true.
It's a done deal. And he was like, you can't take that stuff personally because it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it's happened so many times that I can't even remember. But it's one of those things that you have to be able to stick to it.
Okay. Why do we do this in relationships? And what I mean is, we get in a relationship, and normally it's about that first 90 days.
Oh yeah.
Nothing they can do is wrong. They breath never smell.
Never. Never.
Hair is always on point. But then we always want to quit somebody. The first time they tell us, "Why do you chew like that?
Yeah.
Can you not spell? Why are you holding your fork in this manner?" Now, I'm not saying that maybe messages cannot be delivered with a little bit more love.
Right.
But what I am saying is we are never beyond reproach and being, being corrected as long as it's done in love.
Right.
How have you had to, in your evolution, recognize when somebody's, if you were a serial starter in relationships or if you were dealing with somebody who was?
Yeah, well, been on both sides, been guilty of it all. And again, as we've said before, the reason this happens is relationships are not going to fail because of a lack of love. They're going to fail because of a lack of knowledge. They're not sustained by love. They're sustained by knowledge. Do you have the abilities, the skill set, and the capacity to deal with the individual outside of yourself? Most of the time you don't, so it's hard to recognize because more often than not we haven't recognized that in ourselves.
Okay.
That I, at times, could be a serial starter. In my younger years, I was a serial starter. 90 days strong, I'm the best guy out there. Day 91, crickets.
I'm out. You're giving them the Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
Hey, it happened overnight. I don't know. My bad.
I don't know what happened.
I just took a shot on myself.
Out, right? And so because you've done that, you can recognize that in yourself, you're able to recognize it in others, even though they can't. See, majority of the time we deal with other people, they think that you are the problem. True. They're quick to point the finger at you. Well, if you were doing this, if you were able to love me like this, if you weren't holding that fork at 45, I told you to hold the fork at 30 degrees, you wouldn't be on my nerves. Stop chewing with your mouth open. You ain't got no home training. Stuff like that.
Right.
It's always on you. The reality is they lack in the ability and lack the capacity to relate to you as a human being.
They don't recognize your human experience.
No, not at all.
Do you feel like, the serial starters never build a good foundation? So at, day 91, day 120, when, things do start to get on your nerves, when, maybe you start spending more time at this person's house.
Yeah.
They ain't never got no groceries.
Right.
Or, they don't like that you ain't got but one pillow on your couch. Whatever the case may be, but because we don't have that phileo love, that friendship foundation, it was never built.
Right.
Because we never took the time to really get to know somebody past what's your favorite color, what do you like to eat, you know.
Oh my God. Yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly. It is an issue of, it's a foundational issue. You can build your house on a solid foundation, or you can build on sand. See, these particular questions, I know you like that color green. I know your favorite is steak and shrimp.
Okay.
That's real basic. But
Right.
that's also sand. That's not going to do anything for you
Right.
at the point when they look at you or you look at them and you listen, right now I just really want to slap fire from you.
Facts.
And I don't really like you right now.
And that's, you know, I think, you know, the serial starter never gets past the point of not being liked. To allow, and one, they don't get past the point of not being liked, and they don't get past the point of not liking, you know, an individual, because like you said, you may like the color green. What does the color green represent? And why do you like it?
Right.
Was it parents' favorite color? Do you like, you know, that it represents, you know, money?
Right.
Do you like that it represents some of these other things?
Yeah.
But because I just stay at this super surface level knowledge,
Yeah.
then when the boat does get a little shaky, the next thing you know, I'm running master.
yeah.
Do you not see the storm?
No, I don't. but you're right, because at the time that it gets shaky, these individuals revert back to what they know. Guilty as charged.
Right.
If I know I can rely on me, the hell with you.
True.
But that's 1,000% wrong.
Right.
If you so choose to relate to another human being beyond a surface level. 1,000% wrong.
I'm going to digress for just a moment. Do you believe there's a time frame given as to how this growth should take place? As to, and maybe not the growth, but the effort put in.
Definitely for the effort. Yeah.
Like if somebody's not giving you the effort over,
Yeah.
you know, that 90, 120, maybe you give them 180. If they're not giving you this effort over this time, when do we look at ourselves and go, I don't think this is going to work, fam? Whether it be business, friendship.
Or otherwise.
Yeah.
Hey, it is a personal battle of attrition for that particular circumstance. Like you said, it's about the effort. Growth is solely dependent upon this other individual's relationship, what they cultivate with God, right? The understanding and knowledge they get with their particular God.
Right.
So we plant seeds. It's watered. God gives the growth.
Right.
So the effort that is there, are you a laborer getting prepared for this particular harvest? What is it that you want to harvest? That effort shows what you want to harvest.
So if I plant corn, I shouldn't expect sweet potatoes.
Not unless you're delusional.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah.
That if my intent is to cultivate and harvest love, then I need to sow
Yeah.
love.
You should definitely want to try to begin to figure out first, how can I show myself? How can I show myself
Some love.
a higher, not just some love. We got to go from some love to a higher in-depth level of love. See, what's popping right now is the self-care movement.
Sure,
Right?
sure.
It's great. That's wonderful. How can we take that to the next level? Like you said in the episode or two before. Are you meditating? Are you taking time to just sit with you and your thoughts? That is a form of self-care.
Right.
If you do a little yoga, right, figure out what that is. If I need to stretch, go to stretch you, hire somebody, whatever it may be. But you got to take care of the total
Right.
package that is you, not just I went to the barber and got a fresh one. That's awesome. That's great. You should go do that. 'Cause that's
Right.
a form that's going to be good for you. A professional's taking care of that, right? So we got that particular part done. What are you doing for the emotional side of you?
I mean, does the fresh cut does it make us happy for a little bit?
It does.
But then we have nothing to sustain.
Right. So this cut that should happen, once a month or every
2 weeks.
however your hair grows or whatever it is you need to do.
Sure.
Yeah, it should just be, we're adding coals to the fire of your self-care. right?
to keep it going
Mm-hmm.
day in and day out.
Yeah.
Does that come from, like you said, in my meditation? Does it come from some tough conversations?
It does.
With myself.
It does.
Are those conversations, hey man, you suck today?
Oh man, again, 1,000%. I might wear that one out tonight. It's 1,000%. Yeah, you get to sit down in a quiet place in some silence, which is you and your thoughts, where you can tell yourself, man, you're full of it.
Yeah.
You're full of it. For X, Y, and Z,
Sure.
you're full of it. But at the same time, once you acknowledge that you're full of it, you could say, yeah, for X, Y, and Z, I'm full of it. But because the greater one is with me, I'm better than that.
Right.
And because I'm better than that, I have the opportunity to showcase exactly who I am and to whom I belong. So once you recognize you full of it, we're going to pull ourselves up, get up, and let's get after it.
So is it I recognize that I was full of it, and now I've told myself, hey man, you were a serial starter. You're not giving anybody the opportunity to love you. You don't want to put in the work to, one, love yourself and build that foundation, and two, love this individual, this business, this craft.
Yeah.
Because contrary to popular belief, love isn't easy. It's not a
Uh-oh.
It's not a thing that, not that agape love, not that in love.
Right.
It's easy to just, love things. I love this iPhone, man. It does some great things, takes great pictures.
Right.
But I'm not in love with it. I love to eat some steak and sweet potatoes, but I'm not in love with those things. But to be in love with an individual, one thing I've learned in my years of growing, that before, like you said, I would choose to go, yeah, fam, so you don't want to check none of these boxes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can't fool with you.
Right.
But when do I circle back to Kevin and say, did you create a safe space? Maybe Monday and Tuesday.
Right.
Thursday was rough. Are you showing the way?
Yeah.
Maybe on Sunday. And then that's it. Are you creating an atmosphere, culture, and environment for things to grow peacefully and in love?
Yeah.
And if we look at ourselves and we're not doing that, then before you go out and you start, family, oh, this person's a serial starter and they're a serial starter, before you start passing this title out like Oprah, make sure you get in the mirror and get your Michael Jackson on and look at the man in the mirror or woman in the mirror, and decide, am I the serial starter? Now, how do we stop it, Jesse?
Well, with anything, the first step is to admit that we are the problem. And that's a tough one.
Right.
It's going to take some time. It may not happen the first time you decide to sit down with your pen and your pad and get these thoughts flowing.
Sure.
Right? So, like you said, if I have this list that I have, am I doing everything that I possibly can to make sure that this list can actually come to fruition? And the first way I do that is it coming to fruition for me?
Do I really believe it?
Do I believe that?
Because if I don't believe I can love me, probably not going to love anybody or anything else.
And that, let's stay here for a moment. And that is a major issue that we're running into. The expectation is that someone other than yourself is supposed to love you better than you love yourself.
True.
In what world does that make sense?
It's tough because, you're supposed to have this magic wand that you've shown me some love, you've done some things that I needed done, but then I may reject it over time. But then when I'm having my worst day, I need you to get your best Harry Potter and who was them little bears back in the day, the gummy bears and the Care Bears. Yeah. I need you to call down the power of Grayskull.
Right. Oh no.
And be everything that, one, I could start to be for myself.
Right.
That I could, do these things for myself on some level. And then, like you said before, you can add to it.
Right.
Whether it's a friend, whether it's if I don't encourage myself, like Encolada used to sing all the time, sometimes you have to encourage yourself in the Lord. If I don't do that, then what does it really mean when you're like, hey, bro, man, that's great, man. You closed on your first house, man. Let's go celebrate. Now I'm out here like Eeyore. Oh, bro, it's cool, bro. Now I'm putting off these, as the kids say nowadays, these bad vibes, this bad energy.
Right.
You don't want to kick it with me anymore. No. And because I didn't celebrate any good energy, why would God bring me these things back? Whether it be, good business or good people.
I don't know.
That's, I think for me, that's the tough part when we don't at the least try to love ourselves. How do we recognize effort in somebody trying to turn that corner?
We know what genuine effort looks like. It may not be to, this gets a lot of people in trouble. It may not be to the standard, or better yet, the expectation.
Ooh.
And this is where, again, we run into trouble, because expectation is a huge caveat to the failure of you being able to relate to another person.
Sure.
As you grow, you remove the expectation on a human being. You allow them to be who they are and give them, again, the space and grace to grow into who it is they are to become. So their effort is going to dictate how fast they move into the area of becoming the individual that they need to become.
So in the effort, when I see you giving the effort, hey, bro, man, I need to get back in the gym. Okay, bro, come on, I'm down there 3-4 times a week. Let's go. We're in there and we're getting it. Oh, man, bro, you're doing good. Then you might fall off. As somebody who's trying, because I think with the serial starter, a lot of that is, goes back to the encouragement that, they receive or might give to others. So in that scenario, if you slack off just a little bit, do I, jump on you with both feet? Or do I, hey, bro, make sure that, we stay consistent?
Yeah. It's more so of the latter. Hey, let's do it. We got it. We can go. Just learning more, man. People respond better to, the positive vibes than they do the, what are you doing? You ain't supposed to be, how to, woo.
Right. Well, I'm glad for grace.
Yeah. What?
Man, I'd have been stoned to death a couple times
over.
Yeah.
But just understanding that, man, yeah, you want to encourage, because, one of the things that sticks out is that, again, we're supposed to encourage one another to good works.
Right.
Nowhere did it say I'm supposed to cuss you out to good works. Like you said, to stomp on your neck, get on your head every single time that, you fall off. That's part of your humanness.
Right.
But I got to be there if I'm a friend. If I say I love you.
Right.
I got to be there to be like, all right, let's go. And not just look at you, but pick you up. Come on, man.
Right.
Let's go. We got to go. Let's go.
And that takes you putting your own, feelings and emotions aside sometimes when you're, pissed off or angry, because I know where you should be.
Yes.
And we're going to get there. But you're just,
Yeah.
And I don't want to take the time to sit down and talk with you and have, some of these uncomfortable conversations. Why are we struggling?
Yeah.
Why are we having a lack of consistency? Why are we doing X, Y, Z that we know to be counterproductive?
Right.
To our growth and to us being intentional about how we develop. So, for me, I always think about, how Mama told you to deal with Luke, and you have to deal with him in grace.
In grace.
Because the older we get, the more we see how that is a necessity.
Yeah.
For not just, them being our children, but us as individuals needing the grace, because without it, where would we be? Yeah.
Like you remember that, hey man, the more grace you give, the more you receive. So when dealing, and that spans on how you talk to somebody. We think just because, I'm the parent, I'm gonna talk ignorant to you.
Right.
Just because I'm the adult and you're the child.
Right.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Sure.
Not at all. We have to be extremely mindful, because what we say, how we say it, becomes the voice that our kids will hear and replay as they grow. So when they're saying, man, you can't do it, you know you ain't smart enough at this,
Right.
you know you should be doing better, where they get that from?
Us.
Yeah. So to reprogram that, or to keep their mind on the path in which it was created. Because when they come out, they feel like they can do all
Accomplish
things.
anything.
Right? So it's our job to make sure that that voice stays with them forever.
I wholeheartedly agree, and I don't think you can reaffirm, those positive things enough.
Right.
So Jesse, before we get out of here, what I want you to do is share with the family how they can, recognize, the serial starter in themselves. But what are the dangers?
To recognize.
Oh, the dangers.
You recognize you being a serial starter. Just recognizing some of the goals from 21 that you did not accomplish. I'm talking about the ones that you didn't give effort to, that you walked away from, that they've been in your heart for some years. So let's revisit those and get a new plan of attack, and to make sure that when I begin it, I'm going to finish it.
Right.
If you begin a good work, I promise you, there is somebody that's going to see it through to the end. Your job is to start and then to hang on to what you started. Keep pushing, because no one who puts their hands to the plow and looks back is worthy of the reward.
Right.
You have to keep pushing forward no matter what. No matter what somebody's talking about you. Remember, they're going to talk when you do right. They're going to talk when you do wrong. They're going to talk when you turn left. They're going to talk when you turn right. So whatever it is in your heart to do, you do that thing. Regardless, along the way, just know, yes, you're going to fall. You're going to stumble. Get back up again. Dust yourself off.
Right.
Get yourself around some people that's going to pick you up and push you on forward. Right? Keep going no matter what.
Okay. Family, what I want to tell you is, again, celebrate small victories. Never let them pass you by without, recognizing that you won the day, you won the morning, that you got to work on time. As these are basic things for adults, it's still a victory, because you could have been late. Many of us are late, and then it throws us off from the other things that we want to accomplish. The other thing, in being a serial starter, I want you to start doing things that are vastly important to you. If it has a higher level of importance, I think you might set yourself up for more success. And I want you to look at that thing from day one, to day 1,000.
Right.
And see, am I still going to have the same love for this, endeavor, entity, or person that I do at day one in day 1,000? Sure, your love may evolve, as it should, but you should be able to go back to that foundation and have it be solid.
What can they do? What can they tell them what they can do?
First, family, you got to spend some time with the Lord. Secondly, family, to make sure that you're able to go back, you got to go back and do your first works over. Whatever, if you we'll just go in the process of relationships. If, in the first 3 months, if you were waking up cooking the oatmeal, if you were making the smoothies, but then day, 500, you stop those things. You have stopped showing some love. You have stopped showing the same level of care and concern that you did for this person. And now they're going to feel something is wrong with them, because they're no longer receiving the love that you gave them.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that person, that endeavor, that thing, you need to chase after it. Like the woman with the issue of blood. She said, I ain't got to touch him. But if I can just get to the hem of his garment, I know what's for me is there. And so often we don't have that. Now, obviously, it was life-threatening for her. Right. But so was being average for us. So, family, I don't want you to be average. I want you to chase after these things. Go after them. Have a lot of importance in what you're going to do. Family, we do appreciate you guys tuning in with us today.
Thank you.
We know it would not have been what it was had you not taken time out to listen to us. Make sure you go like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook page. We'll see you guys later.